Welcome back to the Jacksonville Buzz. I'm Steve Strum. This morning we have Steve Collar from Vistage Florida. Good morning, sir.
Morning. How are you doing, Steve?
You know, I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks.
Is it weird to have two people named Steve in an interview? Because, the producers say, "Hey, Steve," everybody's like, "What?" So we were talking a little bit offset. Yeah. You have had a storied career at a major logistics company here in the Jacksonville area that has been an experience you've had that Vistage now you're helping other business owners be more effective and efficient. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about what Vistage is.
Yeah, so I've been in the transportation business for over 40 years. I left that and I thought about, well, what do I want to do next? I said, I really want to give back. It's really a passion of mine. So I looked on the internet, I talked to people, and I decided I want to become an executive coach, because an executive coach, I can really help people to become better leaders. And I found that Vistage was a perfect place to do that. So I run a Vistage group here in Jacksonville. It's a CEO peer advisory group. I've got 11 members today. I'm going to take in as many as 16 members. What's unique about the Vistage group is that you have to be from a different industry, right? So we have no competitors in the group, and we get a lot of different perspectives because people of different industries solve problems differently, right? So the idea is we get together once a month, face-to-face, and to work on our business instead in our business. And that's a great opportunity for CEOs to learn from each other. So
when you said that you worked in logistics and transportation, you minimized a little bit. You were, let me make sure we clarify for our viewers, you were in charge of a $1 billion with a B dollar revenue business unit as an executive.
Yes.
And then we talk a lot about coaching, right? You see this stuff all over the place. I'm a coach, you're a coach. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? But most of those folks, they oftentimes have limited experience. So you have a 40-year career, 4 zeros, and you are now in, quote unquote, retirement or second career. When you say that you are a coach, you were a player, and now you're a coach. A lot of respect in the locker room, if you will.
Absolutely.
What do you do for these CEOs? Like, how do you help them maximize their potential and maximize what their company can do? I know there's a lot of things out there. And scale, I think that's a big deal.
Well, first of all, it sounds a little weird, but I question their decisions. And you think about that. Well, that might be awkward, right? But it's what CEOs need most, right? You think about it, as a CEO, you become quite isolated, right? And who do you go to get unbiased feedback? Well, can you go to the board? Probably not with all of your ideas, right? Because they've got their own agendas, right? Can you go to people in your company? Probably not, because
your ideas are their ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, they think your ideas are brilliant. Right. So where do you get that unbiased feedback? And that's really what we do best is they get it from me, and then they get it from the group members.
There's a story about the emperor has no clothes, right? And they have the guy that goes in there and convinces the emperor that the invisible clothes are great, and basically you have the emperor walking around naked. So you are trying to help other CEOs as well as in a consortium, because you have them kind of cross-sharing ideas in order to do that. As we take this thing and wrap it up for this segment, talk about scale for just a minute, about how you help them scale, and especially in COVID. Coming out of COVID.
So, that's what's really interesting. So about 30% of our members started their businesses during COVID, which is pretty amazing in itself. One of them has grown to over 100 people, and they still don't have an office, right? Wow. So it's quite different. And, everything has kind of turned itself on its head since COVID, right? It used to be that, hey, I'm a great company, come work for me, no questions asked. Today it's different. You want to attract the best talent, the best and the brightest, well, you have to have a really attractive environment. So that's the biggest challenge, I think, for CEOs, is to create that environment that they can bring in the right talent and then scale that business up to its potential.
We could go on forever about this great stuff. I know you've got a lot of things, and let's have you back on another segment. But as we take this one out, if people want to find out more about you or Vistage, what is the best way to contact you?
The best way to contact us is through our Vistage office. You can go to www.florida.vistage.com. Well, that's a lot of dots, but www.florida.vistage.com. That's a great way to connect with our office. It's actually right here in Jacksonville. And the phone number for Vistage is 1-800-733-4832.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and it's really neat to hear your story, both as your career and now as your second career. And I'd love to have you back on another segment, talk about some of the workshops that you do.
Yeah, I'd love that. Thanks so much, Steve. I appreciate it.
Guys, thanks for joining us on the Jacksonville Buzz. If you like us, share us, and remember, live with gratitude, and we will be right back with more on Vistage. And we're back with Steve Collar from Vistage Florida to talk about some of the workshops that his organization does to help CEOs. One that's coming up here in a couple weeks called the CEO Summit.
Right. We do this twice a year. This happens to be our fall CEO Summit. It happens on October 11th. And so if you're a president, owner, or CEO of a multi-million-dollar company, I'd love to invite you to be my guest.
So this is something that is not just for the existing members of your organization, by which you do coaching for small, medium, large companies on how to be scaling in capacity and all of their maximum potential. It's not, this event is not for them, although they might be there.
Yes.
This is for people that are trying to figure out, you know what, I'm a CEO, I've got this construction company, and I'm doing great. How do I take it to that next level? How do I value my company? How do I sell my company?
Right.
Hopefully most of the folks are in growth mode that are coming to see a coach for growth, but there's this wide array. What are some of the things that those people can expect to see at this event?
So it's an opportunity to experience Vistage for yourself. So what sets Vistage apart is our great speakers. We've got 1,300 across the U.S. We fly a speaker in for all our regular meetings. Well, we've got a speaker for this meeting it's going to do great for us, right? And then on top of that, we demonstrate our issue processing, right? We'll sit around a table, have an opportunity to bring an issue up, and then you get to experience what it's like to go through an issue processing session where people challenge each other. And then at the end, the person that put the issue on the table basically tells us, after hearing all that advice, what are they going to do?
Well, that sounds fantastic. So if they want to come, I've got the invite right here. So it's register online. I know you have the main page, but this one will be the same page, but /events. They'll still be able to connect through the website and log in. And so this is on October 11th, 2022. So it's coming here in a minute. 7:30 a.m. Epping Forest. So bright and early, right? Early bird in the worm. And if they want to check you out on the website, by October 7th is the request to RSVP.
Correct. And let me just go over the website for this one. It's www.vistageflorida.com/events.
Got it. Well, thanks again for joining us, and we really appreciate having you back.
Well, I hope to see you there. Thanks.
Guys, thanks again for joining us on the Jacksonville Buzz with Steve Collar and Steve Strum. Have a wonderful morning, and remember, live with gratitude.